Do I have a story for you? Okay, wait. I thought about this story a few nights ago, and I was like, wait, hold on. I've never told this story. The one and only person, well, I shouldn't say one and only. I mean, I've told a few people. Anyway, I was in the kitchen a few weeks ago telling Brandon this story, and he was cracking up, dying laughing. And I honestly, you know those stories that like it happens and you kind of almost like you don't forget about it, but it's like you become almost like desensitized to the story itself, and then you retell the story and people have like a crazy reaction to it and you're like, oh wait, that wasn't normal. Yeah, that's right. Back at the beginning of 2024, I worked at a coffee shop again for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. If you have not watched those videos, I'm gonna sum it up for you real quick. I mean, obviously go watch them because like they're kind of entertaining if I do say so myself. But like I'm gonna sum it up for you. Basically at the beginning of the year, I was really struggling with having a lot of balance in my life between like social media content, everything, like projects I was doing on the side. I was just very much consumed with the work that I was doing that I didn't really feel like I had a good like work-life balance. I had this miraculous idea. I'm like, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna get myself a job as a barista again, like a part-time thing, 10 hours a week, 15 hours a week max. So I thought that throwing another job into the mix would be a good idea, and it wasn't. So anyway, that's the summary of those videos. So there was this girl who worked at that coffee shop, and she was like the, I guess, general manager, so you could put it, of that coffee shop. And the first day that I had, which it wasn't even my first day, it was technically a training shift. I don't think I was paid for it. I think it was just a way of getting free labor out of me. I don't know, side eye, but that's not my business anymore. So the first day that I show up to this training shift, mind you, it's like 5 a.m, and I told the story a little bit in the last video, but I'll just really quickly tell it again. We need to give her a name. Rebecca. Her name was Rebecca. So Rebecca was supposed to meet me there at 5 a.m. and obviously be the manager who was opening the coffee shop that day. And Rebecca decided that that was the day of all days that she was going to show up late. So I stood outside of that coffee shop on the streets of Chicago at 5 a.m, dark out, by myself, waiting for this girl to show up. I had no direct line of contact to her. I didn't have her number. I didn't have anything. So I was literally just standing out there being like, should I go home? She doesn't show up. She shows up like 15, 20 minutes late after I've been standing out. And mind you, this is at the beginning of 2024. It's like March, like early March. It's freezing in Chicago, especially at 5 a.m. So I'm freezing my off outside of this coffee shop waiting for this girl to show up. So we're already off to a great start. We're building rapport. She was a nice girl, but here's the thing. She was freshly 21. 21, do you think? Could literally crack open a cold one for the first time 2 months prior to that. Now, here's the thing. I think there are a lot of very mature 21-year-olds, 20-something-year-olds out there. I mean, when you're literally traumatized as a child, you have no choice but to grow up and be mature and wise very quickly. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe that's her. Maybe we actually do have something in common. So I'm never one to judge and be like, you're too young to be doing this. But I will say she was a little bit on the younger side to be managing an entire coffee shop. So over the course of those few weeks that I had worked there were just a few things that jumped out to me as like confirmation of like, yeah, this girl's a little bit on the younger side. Apart from her showing up late and like leaving me outside, she was also, this has nothing to do with her character, but she was a very, very low talker. She was very quiet. I was straining to hear her at all times. I literally, if you're a barista, you know behind the bar, it is loud. You have espresso, you have milk, you have blenders, you have this, you have that, you have the ovens. Like, it's loud. Girl, speak up! So I'm painting this picture for you, okay? Fast forward. Do you ever just recall or have that exact moment where you're like, actually, this? Like, do you ever have those moments where you can recall a point in time where you were like, yeah, no, this? I obviously knew over those few weeks that I probably wasn't gonna last long at this coffee shop because I quickly realized that adding in a part-time job to the mix of everything else I was trying to do probably not the best idea in the world. I was extremely stressed out for those 3 weeks. It was pulling time away from things like social media, like freelance work that I'm doing, projects, everything. It was taking time away. And on top of that, there were no breaks at this place. I was told by her, that same manager, that they don't do breaks unless it's like a lunch break after you've worked 7-8 hours, which I'm pretty sure that goes against labor laws. Like I'm 99% sure that in the state of Illinois, you get a break at like a 10-minute break after 4 hours. Her words verbatim to me when I first started were, yeah, you could take a 10-minute break at the 4-hour mark, but most of us don't. I'm like, okay, I'll go myself. That's fine. There were like a lot of like questionable things that were happening at this coffee shop. But I talked about all that in the last video. So if you really want to get down dirty and juicy, you can peep that there. But like we're staying on track, okay? Because I really got to tell you this. There was one other guy who worked at this coffee shop that I warmed up to pretty quickly. And for this story's purposes, we'll call him John. So John and I were the only two people at this coffee shop that were not college students because this coffee shop was sort of near one of the Chicago college campuses. There were a lot of students that were coming in and that also worked there. So everyone at that coffee shop was either 21 or younger than 21. So like 18, 19, 20, 21. The general manager was 21, okay? Everyone was young. Me and John were the only two people at this coffee shop that were not 21. He was 25. I'm obviously 24. Him and I both had prior coffee shop experience. I like to bar, okay? I like to make drinks. So him and I were always stuck on bar together and we would always talk our together and he was great. John and I are on bar together. We're living our best lives, except we're not. So this man comes in and it's like the morning lull, you know? Like it's right after morning rush. It's not quite lunch rush yet. It's like that little lull in between the peaks of the day. I need a little coffee break, hold up. So it's me, John, and Rebecca on the floor. Rebecca's at the register, John and I are on bar. This man comes in, and I didn't see him come in. I didn't hear the initial conversation because since it was a lull, I was out in the lobby sweeping and just kind of tidying up the bar. This man comes in. He's not homeless. Like you could tell he's clearly disheveled. Like he's clearly like, you know, like not doing well, right? He walks in. He walks up to the bar where John is standing, and they exchange a few words, and I see John say to this man, okay, stay right here, I'll be right back. Right behind the counter was this, like, I don't want to call it a back room, but it was where, like, the 3-compartment sink is and a little bit of, like, overflow stock, and it was, like, this little closet almost, and it was, like, hidden by a curtain. So it wasn't, like, a back room, it wasn't a closet, it was, like, this, I don't know what to call it. So I walk towards the little closet, if you will, and I hear John on the phone with 911. I'm like, what's about to go down? Are we in danger? So I'm listening to John, and he's like talking to 911, and I'm like, what's going on? At this point, this man that came in is kind of just like looking around. So eventually John gets off the phone, and he says to Rebecca, okay, police and paramedics are on their way. This gentleman came in and came up to John and was like, I don't feel safe. I feel like I'm a danger to myself right now. Can you please call 911? I need some support. So this man is standing there. And of course, like, I feel for him, okay? Like, he's clearly not doing well if he came into a coffee shop like this. So Rebecca is standing at the register. This man comes up to the register. He says to Rebecca, hi. While I wait for 911 to come, may I please have a small drip coffee? Rebecca looks at the register. She starts punching in the coffee as if she's going to ring him up and charge him for it. This man goes, I don't have my wallet on me. May I please just have the cup of coffee? Rebecca looks at this man and says to him, no, I cannot give coffee away for free. Wrap it up. My jaw actually like dropped open. I was like, girl, I'm gonna be honest with you. All jokes aside, I'm not laughing at the situation. If anything, I'm laughing at how incredibly stupid that decision was. Sorry, we're gonna call a spade here. If I was ever feeling like a danger to myself and I went to a coffee shop and all I wanted was just a little drip coffee, a little black coffee. I'm not feeling too good, and the police are on their way. If I asked for a small drip coffee and somebody said no, that would be my 13th reason. Right there would literally be my 13th reason why. I would probably just be like, life is not worth living. Dude, are you freaking kidding me? That was the moment that I actually like looked at her and I was like, are you 5? Are you a child? Like, Dude, I promise you the owner of this coffee shop, if he knew what was going on right now, I promise he wouldn't be mad if you gave away a free small black drip coffee. It don't cost us that much to give away a drip coffee. Fast forward, police come, they take him away, not in a bad way, obviously, but like they're like, okay, come on, you're coming with us, we're gonna figure this out, whatever. So he goes with them, and that's it. We've never saw that man again. Truly, I think about him often. I hope he's okay. I hope he's safe. And that was the moment that I was like, yeah, dude, this place. Like, why am I still working? I don't get breaks. I don't get drinks. I don't get food. I don't even get paid minimum wage. I'm not even in the tip pool. And then on top of all of that, this place is managed by. Imagine that. Like, imagine somebody coming in and being like, I'm unwell, can I have a coffee? And then the other person just being like, no. We don't even get drinks for free here. You think you're getting a free drink, buddy? No. Ironically, I also want to say, I think that was the day of the eclipse in 2024. Like early 2020, remember when we had that whole solar eclipse or whatever, lunar eclipse, whatever it was, the eclipse. There was a big ass eclipse that you could see. Well, we could see it because we were in the line of whatever, but I'm pretty sure it was eclipse day, which kind of makes sense. Yeah, I think like I came back in for one more shift after that, and then the same manager, Rebecca, she kind of like disregarded my availability on the next 2 schedules, and I was like, yeah, no, like this is just not going to work for me. Like I quit over text, and I'm like, I appreciate the opportunity, but this ain't working for me. So yeah, that was my this I'm out moment. To those of you who work in coffee shops, manage coffee shops, run coffee shops, listen, at the end of the day, I know money's important. Trust me, I own a business myself. I know how important money is. But if somebody ever walked up to me at the kitchen that we produce out of with Sips, and they were like, yo, I'm feeling like a danger to myself, let me get a coffee syrup, I'd be like, yeah, you know what, that's fine. You can have one. If that'll help your situation, yeah, yeah, here's a coffee syrup. Here's 2. I don't know. So anyway, that's my story about Rebecca, John, and the coffee shop that I worked at for like literally a handful of days. And that's that.